Hey guys, AnnaMay here. I'm super excited to be Full Spectrum Geeks Geekette of the Month this month. So cool. So I guess right now I should answer some questions. The one part of my geekiness that I couldn't live without is other people to share the geekiness with. You know, be it people that just appreciate that you geek out on whatever you geek out on, or people that can share the fandom that you have. I mean, I don't know, I couldn't live without that part of it, because being able to share the things that you love is so special. I mean, there's nothing like going to a convention like Comic-Con or Anime Expo, being in cosplay and meeting up with people that just appreciate what you're wearing. You know, maybe they're wearing the same thing and you sort of build that connection based on that. It's amazing. Is that lame? Kind of lame. If I were stranded on a desert island, what would I bring? Okay, well, if it doesn't have to be something like real, I'd totally take the TARDIS, because then I could just get off the desert island. But since it's probably supposed to be, I guess you guys are intending on something real. The Mythbusters taught me that with a palette of duct tape, I can do just about anything. So I guess that's how I would survive. And, you know, I could make up my own, like, animes and comic books and stuff in my head. So I'm all good there. How old was I when I embraced my geekness? You know, I can't remember a time when I wasn't into things that are geeky. You know, like I grew up on Star Trek: The Next Generation and stuff like that, and you know, like the Nintendo came out when I was a kid, so I really grew up just embracing it all and loving it, and kind of never let that go. So yeah, I can't think of a time when I didn't have the sort of geekiness to me. Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones? Okay, I got to admit it, I have not read either, but I do enjoy watching the Lord of the Rings movies and the Game of Thrones TV show. Let's see. Game of Thrones has more naked people, but Lord of the Rings has giant talking fighting trees. Ooh. I gotta call it a tie. I think it just depends on what mood I'm in. You know, am I in the mood for like blood and naked people? Or am I in the mood for like, you know, hobbits and elves and stuff? It's a tie. Marvel or DC? This is another one of those toughies, because, like, you know, it just sort of depends on how I'm feeling. Like, I think for the longest time it was always, like, DC, because I would always swing towards Batman. But lately I've been really into Deadpool, because, you know, Deadpool. So I'm sort of leaning towards Marvel. And then there was a while where it was Image, because of Chew. But really, I think it always swings back to Batman, so I guess technically I sort of have to go DC. I'm Batman! Batman! Star Wars or Star Trek? Okay, this one is actually an easy one for me. For me, it's always Star Trek. You know, I appreciate Star Wars, but I'm more of a sci-fi girl than a fantasy girl, you know, so like for me, Star Wars is more fantasy, and it's just, you know, I can appreciate it, it's fun and stuff, but it's not as much my thing. Star Trek, the sci-fi, the actual like science aspect of it, Gene Roddenberry, I mean, I don't know, I just love Star Trek. Not to mention the fact that there is definitely far more of a place for women in Star Trek. So, gotta give them props for that. Manga or anime? Huh. That is really tough, because I mean, so many animes are so well adapted, so, you know, it's like you're watching the manga, essentially, because that's what it is. Really, I just love anime and manga. You know, DBZ, Naruto, Slam Dunk, Fate Zero, Attack on Titan, they are all awesome, so anime and manga, yes. What kind of music do I like? You know, I like a lot of music. You know, music is just such an important part of life as far as I'm concerned. But I grew up on classic rock. You know, when I was a teenager, I followed Fish. Yeah, little hippiness. But, you know, I love anime music. You know, the jazz and Cowboy Bebop, Yoko Kanno. I mean, just amazing stuff there. I think that I really appreciate when music is used well in things. So Yeah, I just appreciate good music, so sorry if that doesn't answer it too well, but that's just how I feel. Also, when I get a little overwhelmed at conventions, I do tend to hum the Game of Thrones theme, so whatever that means. Favorite movie or movies? Well, I grew up loving James Bond, you know, like the old school ones with Connery, like watching those on VHS, or, you know, how we used to watch movies back in the day. But I think The Matrix and The Fifth Element, I have watched both of those so many times, like countless amount of times. So I think in terms of favorite rewatchability wise, I would have to go with The Matrix and The Fifth Element. Favorite movie that came from a video game? That is not a fair question. That is not a fair question at all. I appreciate that there are some that will be coming out that they actually seem to be caring about making good movies, but I guess of the ones that exist currently, Mortal Kombat! Or the first Resident Evil. I enjoy those. I appreciate those. And you know, they were done with a significant amount of trying to represent what they came from. So, and they were fun. Both of them were very fun. So I guess those two. I'll go with those two. Do I have a favorite video game? You know, I lean towards puzzle games. You know, I think in my heart of hearts, it will always be Tetris. But I really appreciate any game that has a good couch co-op mode. You know, I like to actually sit in a room with people and play a game with them, you know, alongside them, being teammates. So, you know, like Ratchet Deadlocked or Resident Evil 5, you know. So, but yeah, I think overall it will always come down to Tetris. If I had a choice, what superhero or video game character would I be? Okay, well, I guess technically not a superhero, but still in my mind it is. I would be the Doctor. I would so be the Doctor. I mean, traveling around in the TARDIS, always making new friends, having new traveling companions, having adventures all over the universe, time and space. I mean, yeah, I think I'd be the Doctor. Do I have any special Geekette tattoos or body piercings I want to share? No tattoos at all, but I do appreciate tattoos. You know, we love taking photos of tattoos, geeky tattoos at conventions, things like that, but for me, I prefer temporary tattoos. Yeah. Well, guys, thanks so much again for making me August's Full Spectrum Geekette of the Month. If you want to see more of me, you can check out my website, geekworldradio.com, and check me out on YouTube, youtube.com/geekworldradio. You can also check me out on the radio every week on Indie 100 and The Point. So, keep on geeking.